Han Tae-woo pressed his face against the small window of the transport ship. Below him, the planet Valoria 7 stretched out like a giant purple marble. The clouds were pink. The oceans were silver. Everything looked wrong and beautiful at the same time. He had been traveling for 6 months through hyperspace. 6 months of eating freeze-dried food, sleeping in a tiny cabin, and wondering if he had made the biggest mistake of his life. But the Galactic Mining Corporation had offered him triple his Earth salary. Triple. Back home. He could barely afford his small apartment in Bizon. Here, he could save enough money to buy a house for his mother Dodd, so he had signed a contract and said goodbye to everything he knew. The ship shook as it entered the atmosphere. Tae-woo gripped his seat and closed his eyes. He was not afraid of many things, but flying had always made his stomach feel strange. When the shaking stopped, he opened his eyes and looked outside again. The spaceport was enormous. Towers made of white stone reached toward the purple sky. Ships of all sizes moved through the air like metal birds. And everywhere, there were aliens. Tae-woo had seen pictures of Valorians during his training. They were humanoid, with 2 arms, 2 legs, and 1 head. But their skin came in different colors: silver, blue, pale violet. Their eyes were larger than human eyes, and their ears were pointed like leaves. Most of them were tall, very tall. Tae-woo was not a short man, but he felt small as he walked through the spaceport. A company representative met him at the arrival gate. She was a Valorian woman with silver skin and dark blue hair. Her name tag said, "Welcome, Agent Bomi. You are the human?" she asked. Her voice was soft, like wind through grass. "Yes," Tae-woo said. "Han, Tae-woo. I am the new engineer." Bomi looked at him for a long moment. Her large eyes moved up and down, studying him like he was a strange animal. Then she nodded slowly. "Follow me. I will take you to your housing." They walked through the spaceport together. Tae-woo noticed that everyone was staring at him. Valorians stopped their conversations to look. Some whispered to each other. A child pointed at him and asked her mother a question. The mother quickly pulled the child away. "Do they not see many humans here?" Tae-woo asked. Bomi made a sound that might have been a laugh. "They do not see any humans here. You are the first one to live in this region." Tae-woo did not know what to say to that. He just kept walking and tried to ignore the stares. The transport pod took them to the workers' district. The buildings here were simpler than the ones at the spaceport, but still beautiful. They were made of smooth stone in soft colors. Gardens grew on the rooftops. Small flying creatures moved between the flowers. The housing complex was called Building 7. It had 20 floors and about 100 apartments. Bomi led Tae-woo to the 5th floor and stopped in front of a door marked 512. "This is your home," she said. She pressed her hand against a panel and the door slid open. "Your handprint has been registered. Only you can open this door." The apartment was small but clean. There was a sleeping area, a cooking area, a bathroom, and a living space with a large window. The furniture looked strange, designed for Valorian bodies, but Tae-woo did not mind. He had slept in worse places. "Someone will come tomorrow to explain your work schedule," Bomi said. "Do you have questions?" Tae-woo looked out the window. He could see other buildings, other apartments, other lives happening all around him. He was very far from home. "Where can I find good food?" he asked. Bomi tilted her head. The question seemed to confuse her. "There is a food distribution center on the 1st floor. You can collect your nutrition packs there." Nutrition packs. That did not sound good. But Tae-woo smiled and nodded. "Thank you. I will be fine." After Bomi left, Tae-woo sat on the strange-shaped couch and let out a long breath. He was alone on an alien planet, millions of light years from Earth. He did not speak the language well. He did not understand the culture. He did not know anyone, but he was here. And he would make it work. He decided to explore the building. The hallways were quiet and clean. The lights were soft and warm. He walked past door after door, wondering who lived behind each one. On the third floor, he found a common area with plants and comfortable seating. 2 Valorian women were sitting there, talking quietly. When they saw Tae-woo, they stopped talking immediately. He smiled and waved. "Hello, I am Tae-woo. I am new here." The women looked at each other. Then they looked at him. Their large eyes were wide with something like shock. "You are the human?" one of them asked. "Yes," Tae-woo said. "I just arrived today." More silence. The women seemed frozen, like they did not know what to do. Tae-woo felt awkward. "Wow, nice to meet you," he said. "I will see you around." He waved again and walked away. Back on his floor, he stepped out of the elevator and almost crashed into another Valorian woman. She had pale violet skin and white hair that floated around her head like a cloud. She was carrying a box of gardening tools. "Oh, sorry," Tae-woo said quickly. The woman stared at him. Her golden eyes went wide. The box slipped from her hands and crashed to the floor. Tools scattered everywhere. "I am so sorry," Tae-woo said. He bent down and started picking up the tools. "Here, let me help." The woman did not move. She just stood there, watching him. When he handed her the box, their fingers touched briefly. She made a small sound and pulled her hand back like she had been burned. "Are you okay?" Tae-woo asked. "You are warm," she whispered. "So warm." Tae-woo did not understand. "Yes, humans have warm bodies. Is that strange?" The woman did not answer. She just took her box and hurried away, looking back at him twice before disappearing around a corner. Tae-woo scratched his head. Everyone here was acting so strange. Was he really that unusual? He went back to his apartment and started unpacking his few belongings. He had brought some clothes, some tools, and a small cooker from Earth. He also had a photograph of his mother. He placed it on the shelf near his bed. "I made it, Mom," he said to the photo. "I am here." An hour later, he heard a knock on his door. When he opened it, no one was there. But on the floor, he found a small package wrapped in silver cloth. He picked it up and looked around. The hallway was empty. Inside the package was something that looked like fruit. It was purple and smelled sweet. There was a small note with it, but the writing was in Valorian. He could not read it. He smiled. A welcome gift from a neighbor. That was kind. He took one bite of the fruit. It tasted like nothing he had ever tried before. Sweet and sour and something else he could not name. It was delicious. Over the next few hours, more gifts appeared at his door. By the time he went to sleep, he had received 7 packages. Fruits, flowers, small decorative stones, and things he could not identify. He lay in his strange bed and looked at the ceiling. The lights of the alien city glowed through his window. 7 gifts from 7 neighbors. And he had not even met most of them yet. Maybe this planet would not be so lonely after all. He closed his eyes and fell asleep, dreaming of purple skies and silver moons and neighbors with curious eyes. Tomorrow would be a new day. Tomorrow he would start to build his new life. But tonight, he was just Han Tae-woo, a simple engineer from Bizan, sleeping on a planet millions of light years from home, surrounded by aliens who thought he was the strangest thing they had ever seen. And somehow, that made him smile. 1 week passed on Valoria 7, and Han Tae-woo became the most famous person in Building 7. He did not want to be famous. He just wanted to do his job, eat good food, and maybe make some friends. But the Valorians had other ideas. Every time he walked through the hallways, heads turned. Every time he entered the elevator, conversation stopped. Every time he went to the food distribution center, a small crowd would gather to watch him eat. The nutrition packs were terrible. They looked like gray paste and tasted like cardboard. Tae-woo missed Korean food so much that his heart hurt. He missed his mother's kimchi jjigae. He missed cheap ramen from the convenience store. He missed grilled meat and cold beer with his friends Dot, so he decided to cook. He had brought a small portable cooker from Earth, and he had found something that looked like noodles at a local market. He also found vegetables that seemed safe, and a spice that smelled a little bit like gochujang. It was not perfect, but it was better than gray paste. The first time he cooked, the smoke alarm went off. Valorians did not cook with fire. They did not understand why anyone would burn things on purpose. 3 of his neighbors came running to see if he was dying. He was not dying. He was making ramen. The woman from the gardening accident was there. Her name was Yuna, and she lived in apartment 514, right next to him. She was a botanist who studied alien plants. She had silver skin and golden eyes, and she was always watching him through her window. Tae-woo had noticed her watching. At first, it made him uncomfortable. But then, he understood. She was not being creepy. She was just curious. Valorians were very curious about everything, and Tae-woo was the most interesting thing in the building. So one evening, when he caught her watching again, he waved and pointed to his door. Then he pointed to the food he was cooking. 5 minutes later, Yuna knocked on his door. She looked nervous, like she was about to enter a dangerous place. "Please, come in," Tae-woo said. "I made food. Would you like to try?" Yuna stepped inside slowly. Her eyes moved around the apartment, looking at everything. The photograph of his mother. The strange cooking equipment. The steam rising from the pot. "What is that smell?" she asked. "Food," Tae-woo said. "Human food." "Well, Korean food." "Please, sit down." He gave her a bowl of ramen. The noodles were not quite right, and the broth was missing many ingredients, but it was still 10 times better than nutrition packs. Yuna looked at the bowl with suspicion. She picked up the chopsticks that Tae-woo gave her and studied them carefully. "You hold them like this," Tae-woo showed her. She tried. The chopsticks slipped from her fingers 3 times. Finally, she managed to pick up a single noodle. She put it in her mouth. Her eyes went wide. Her whole body became still. "This is," she started to say. "Good?" Tae-woo asked hopefully. "This is aggressive," she said. Tae-woo laughed. "Aggressive? It's just noodles." "The taste attacks me," Yuna said. But she did not stop eating. She finished the entire bowl and then looked at the empty dish like she had lost something precious. "I have never experienced food like this," she said. "Valorian food is gentle. It whispers to your tongue. This food shouts?" "Korean food does shout sometimes," Tae-woo admitted. "Would you like more?" After that night, Yuna visited often. She brought Tae-woo samples of Valorian plants, and he cooked strange experimental dishes with them. Most experiments failed. Some were terrible. But a few were actually delicious, and those became his new favorites. Through Yuna, Tae-woo met the other neighbors. Mina lived on the 4th floor. She was a mechanic with 4 arms and violet scales instead of skin. She was loud, direct, and always looked a little bit angry. When she first met Tae-woo, she poked his arm with one of her fingers. "Soft," she said with disappointment. "Humans are supposed to be weak, fragile, easy to break. I am not that fragile," Tae-woo said. Mina made a sound that was definitely a laugh. "Please, I heard that humans cannot even regenerate limbs. You lose an arm. It is gone forever. That is pathetic. Can you regenerate limbs?" Tae-woo asked. "Of course," Mina said, showing him a scar on one of her arms. "Lost this one in a factory accident. Grew back in 3 months." Tad Wu had to admit that was impressive. But he was not ready to accept that humans were pathetic. A few days later, Mina was struggling with a broken hover engine in the building's maintenance room. She had been working on it for 3 days. The engine refused to start, and she could not figure out why. Taewoo walked by and saw her cursing at the machine. "Can I help?" he asked. "A human? Help with machines?" Mina laughed. "Go away." But Taewoo did not go away. He walked closer and looked at the engine. He did not understand alien technology completely, but engines were engines. They all followed similar rules. "Have you checked this connection here?" he asked, pointing to a small pipe. "Of course, I checked it," Mina said. "I checked everything." Tae-woo looked more closely. The pipe was connected correctly, but there was a tiny crack in the seal, so small that it was almost invisible. He pulled some tape from his pocket. It was earth tape, strong and flexible. He wrapped it around the crack carefully. "Try now," he said. Mina rolled her eyes but pressed the start button. The engine came to life immediately. She stared at the machine. Then she stared at Tae-woo. Then she stared at the tape. "What is that material?" she demanded. "Duct tape," Tae-woo said. "Humans use it for everything." "Everything?" "Everything. Broken pipes. Broken machines. Broken hearts." He smiled. Mina did not smile back. But from that day on, she stopped calling humans pathetic. SOR. It was different from the other neighbors. She was a healer with pale blue skin and eyes that glowed like soft starlight. She rarely spoke, but she was always there, watching from quiet corners. One evening, Tae-woo was sitting in the common area, feeling lonely. He missed his home. He missed his mother. He missed speaking Korean with people who understood him. The loneliness sat on his chest like a heavy stone. Sora appeared beside him. He had not heard her approach. "You carry much pain," she said softly. Tae-woo was surprised. "I am fine." "No," Sora said. "You feel alone. You feel far from your people. You wonder if you made a mistake coming here." He stared at her. "How do you know that?" "I am a healer. I sense emotions. And yours are very loud." Tae-woo did not know what to say. He was not used to people reading his feelings like a book. "Do not be ashamed," Sora said. "Your emotions are beautiful. Humans feel everything so deeply. Joy, sadness, hope, fear. It is like standing next to a fire. Warm and bright and overwhelming." "Is that good?" Tae-woo asked. "It is wonderful," Sora said. "Most species keep their emotions hidden, protected, small, but you humans let everything burn freely. It is brave." She touched his hand gently. Her skin was cool, like water from a mountain stream. "You are not alone," she said. "You have neighbors now. You have us." From that moment, Tae-woo felt a little less lonely. I was the youngest neighbor. She was a student, maybe the Valorian equal of a teenager. She had green skin and endless energy. She asked questions constantly. "Why do humans sweat? Why do you sleep so long? Why do you eat so much? Why do you laugh at things that are not funny? Why do your eyes leak water when you are sad? Why is your blood red? Why do you have hair on your face? Why do you make those strange sounds when you are happy?" Tae-woo answered every question patiently. Sometimes he did not know the answers himself. But Nari did not mind. She just kept asking more questions. And then there was Hannah. Hannah was the landlord of Building 7. She was tall and stern, with dark purple skin and eyes like cold stars. She spoke in short sentences and rarely smiled. She was responsible for everything in the building, and she took her job very seriously. At first, Tae-woo thought she did not like him. She always looked at him with a serious expression. She checked on his apartment more often than necessary. She asked many questions about his habits, but then he noticed something. Every time he walked through the lobby, she found a reason to be there. Every time he had a problem, she personally came to fix it. Every time he smiled at her, her stern expression cracked just a little bit. Hana was curious about him too. She was just better at hiding it. One evening, a message arrived at the housing complex. Hana read it, and her face went pale. What is wrong? Tae-woo asked. Hana looked at him with worried eyes. The regional overseer is coming. She wants to inspect the human. Inspect me? To decide if you are safe. If you are allowed to stay. Hana paused. The overseer is not kind. She does not like things that are different. Tae-woo felt a cold feeling in his stomach. After everything he had done to come here, after all the friends he had made, could he really be sent away? He looked at Yuna, at Mina, at Sora, at Nari. They were all looking at him with the same worried expression. For the first time since arriving on Valoria 7, Han Tae-woo was afraid. The regional overseer arrived on a cold morning when the twin suns were still low in the purple sky. Her name was Elder Bora, and she looked exactly like Tae-woo had imagined. Tall, cold, powerful. She wore long black robes and moved like a shadow through the building. Her eyes were the color of ice. And when she looked at Tae-woo, he felt like a small insect under a magnifying glass. So, Elder Bora said, "You are the human." "Yes," Tae-woo said. "I am Han Tae-woo. I am an engineer with the Galactic Mining Corporation. I know who you are. I have read your file." Elder Bora circled around him slowly, studying him from every angle. Humans are rare in this sector. Most stay on Earth or in the human colonies. Why did you come here? For work, Tae-woo said honestly. The money is good. The money. Elder Bora made a sound that might have been disgust. You came to an alien planet, far from your people, far from everything you know. For money? I have a mother on Earth. She is old. She needs care. The money helps. Elder Bora stopped circling. For a brief moment, something flickered in her cold eyes. But it disappeared quickly. Tell me about humans, she said. Your species. Your capabilities. Your weaknesses. Tae-woo shrugged. What do you want to know? I want to know if you are dangerous. The question surprised him. He was just an engineer. He fixed machines and built things. He had never hurt anyone in his life. I am not dangerous, he said. That is not what my research says. Elder Bora pulled out a small device and activated a holographic display. Humans evolved on Earth, a planet so hostile that it has been classified as a Category 3 death world. Your planet has extreme temperatures, violent weather, deadly diseases, and predators that hunt for pleasure. Your species survived by being aggressive, adaptable, and incredibly stubborn. I suppose that is true, Tae-woo admitted. Humans can survive injuries that would kill most species. You can eat foods that are poison to others. You can operate in environments that are hostile to organic life. You need very little sleep compared to other species. You heal from wounds without medical intervention. You keep functioning even when badly damaged. Elder Bora paused. You are, in biological terms, terrifying. Tae-woo did not know how to respond. He had never thought of humans as terrifying. Humans were just humans. And yet, Elder Bora continued, you also form emotional attachments easily. You bond with other species. You adopt non-human creatures as companions. You show loyalty to beings that are not your family. She looked at him with those cold eyes. You have been here for only a few weeks, and already you have formed connections with the residents of this building. Why? Because they are nice to me, Tae-woo said. Because they are my neighbors. Because it feels good to have friends. Friends. Elder Bora said the word like it was strange to her. You consider these aliens your friends? Yes. Even though they are not human? Even though they look different, think different, live different? Yes. Elder Bora was silent for a long moment. The residents of Building 7 had gathered in the lobby, watching the interrogation with worried faces. Yuna, Mina, Sora, Nari, Hana, they all looked scared. Before Elder Bora could ask another question, an alarm started screaming. The sound was loud and sharp, cutting through the air like a knife. Red lights flashed in the hallways. A computerized voice spoke in Valorian, and Taewoo could not understand the words, but he understood the tone. Emergency. Danger. Hana rushed to a communication panel and listened to the message. Her face went white. There's a fire at the mining facility, she said. A chemical fire. Toxic gas is spreading toward the residential district. The effect was immediate. People started running, screaming, pushing toward the exits. The Lorians were panicking, and Taewoo could see real terror in their eyes. What kind of toxic gas? He asked Hana. Methyl chloride compound. It destroys Valorian lungs in minutes. We cannot breathe it. Even small amounts are deadly. Through the window, Taewoo could see it. A green cloud, thick and heavy, rolling through the streets like a slow wave. People were collapsing on the sidewalks. Some were trying to run, but falling before they could reach safety. The emergency services were coming, but they were still far away. Too far, too slow. Taewoo looked at the people falling. He looked at the green cloud. He made a decision. I can help, he said. What? Hana grabbed his arm. No, you can't go out there. You will die. No, Taewoo said. I will not. Humans evolved on a death world, remember? Our lungs are stronger. We can survive things that Valorians cannot. He gently removed her hand from his arm. I am not saying it will be comfortable, but I can breathe that gas long enough to help people. You do not know that, Yuna said, her voice shaking. You might be wrong. I might be. But I have to try. He did not wait for permission. He ran outside. The moment he left the building, the gas hit him. It burned. His eyes watered. His throat felt like it was on fire. Every breath was pain. But he could still breathe. Barely. Painfully. But enough. The first person he reached was a young Valorian woman lying on the ground. She was not breathing. He picked her up and ran toward the building. His muscles screamed. His lungs burned. But he did not stop. He reached the building doors and handed the woman to Mina, who was waiting just inside. Get her to safety, he said. Then he turned and ran back into the green cloud. He found an old man next. Then a child. Then two women holding each other. One by one, he carried them out of the poison. One by one, he saved their lives. The gas was getting thicker. Taewoo could feel his body weakening. His vision was getting blurry. His legs were shaking. But every time he wanted to stop, he saw another body on the ground. Another person who needed help. So he kept going. The residents of Building 7 watched from the windows. They watched the human run into the poison again and again. They watched him fall and get back up. They watched him cough blood and keep moving. Nari was crying. Why is he doing this? He's going to die. Because that is what humans do, Sora said softly. They break themselves for others. It is in their nature. Taewoo found Nari's mother unconscious near a crashed vehicle. He picked her up. His arms felt like they were made of stone. His chest was on fire. He could not see clearly anymore, but he could see the building. He could see the door. He could see Hana standing there, reaching for him. He stumbled, fell, got up again. He made it to the door. Then everything went black. When Taewoo opened his eyes, he was in a medical room. Machines beeped around him. His whole body hurt, especially his lungs. Every breath was painful, but he was alive. 14, a voice said. He turned his head. Elder Bora was standing beside his bed. Her cold expression was cracked, showing something underneath. Something like wonder. 14 people, she said. You saved 14 lives. You ran into poison 14 times. You should be dead. But I am not, Taewoo said. His voice was rough like sandpaper. No, you are not. Elder Bora was silent for a moment. I have lived for 200 years. I have seen many things. But I have never seen anyone do what you did today. I could not just watch, Taewoo said. I could not stand there and do nothing while people died. Most would have. Most species would calculate the risk and decide that their own survival was more important. But you did not calculate. You just acted. Elder Bora shook her head slowly. Your file said that humans were stubborn. I did not understand what that meant until now. She walked to the window and looked outside. The green cloud was gone now, cleaned by emergency teams. The streets were quiet. I came here to decide if you were a danger to our society, Elder Bora said. I thought you might be a threat, an unpredictable element that could cause chaos. And now? Taewoo asked. Elder Bora turned to look at him. For the first time, she smiled. It was a small smile, barely visible, but it was there. Now I understand. You are not a danger, Han Taewoo. You are something much more rare. She paused. You are a gift. The door opened, and the neighbors rushed in. Yuna was crying. Mina was pretending not to cry. Nari threw herself at him and hugged him so hard that his ribs hurt. Sora touched his forehead gently, checking his health. Hana stood at the back, her stern face wet with tears she was trying to hide. Taewoo looked at all of them. These strange, beautiful aliens who had become his friends. His family. He smiled. It hurt to smile. It hurt to breathe. It hurt to be alive, but he had never been happier. I am okay, he said. I am okay. And for the first time since arriving on Valoria 7, he truly believed it. The news spread across the planet like fire. A human had run into poison 14 times to save Valorian lives. A human had broken his own body for strangers. A human had done what no one else could do. By the time Taewoo left the medical center, he was famous. Not just in Building 7, not just in the Workers' District, but across all of Valoria-7. His face was on every news screen. His story was being discussed in every home. Parents told their children about the brave human who ran into green death. Officials debated what his actions meant for human-Valorian relations. Scientists wanted to study his body to understand how he survived. Taewoo did not want any of it. He just wanted to go back to his small apartment, eat some noodles, and rest. His lungs still hurt. His muscles were still sore. His body needed time to heal. But the galaxy did not care about his needs. The offers started coming 3 days after the incident. First, there were requests from research institutions. They wanted to scan his body, test his blood, measure his lung capacity. They offered large amounts of money. Taewoo refused all of them. Then came the corporations. Other mining companies wanted to hire him. Security firms wanted him as a consultant. Even the Valorian military sent a message asking if he would consider joining their emergency response team. Taewoo refused those too. The strangest offers came from wealthy Valorian families. They sent formal messages using old-fashioned language that Taewoo did not fully understand. Yuna had to explain. These are courtship proposals, she said, her silver cheeks turning slightly pink. What? Taewoo was confused. Marriage offers. Or at least, offers to begin the process that might lead to marriage. Yuna avoided looking at him directly. You must understand. In Valorian culture, males are very rare. Only 1 in 10 Valorians is male, and most males are kept protected by their families. A strong, brave, unattached male is extremely valuable. Valuable? Tae-woo did not like that word. Desired. Wanted. Yuna finally met his eyes. These families see you as a prize. A hero who would bring honor to their name. Tae-woo looked at the stack of formal proposals on his table. There were at least 30 of them. He pushed them aside. I did not save those people for honor, he said. I did it because it was right. I know, Yuna said softly. That is why you are different. The attention made Tae-woo uncomfortable. He had never liked being the center of attention. He was a simple man with simple needs. Good food, honest work, people who cared about him. That was all he wanted. But something good came from the fame too. The residents of Building 7 became closer than ever. Before the incident, they had been polite neighbors who rarely spoke. Now they were a community. They gathered in the common areas. They shared meals. They helped each other with problems. And at the center of it all was Tae-woo. Whether he wanted to be there or not, Mina visited his apartment one evening, carrying a bottle of something purple. Valorian alcohol, she said. Strong. Will probably make you sick. But I thought you deserved a drink. Tae-woo smiled and invited her in. They sat by the window and watched the twin moons rise. I need to tell you something, Mina said. She did not look at him. When you first arrived, I thought you were weak. I thought humans were soft creatures who could not survive in the real galaxy. I remember, Tae-woo said. You poked my arm. Yes. Mina was quiet for a moment. I was wrong. You are not soft. You are just soft on the outside. Inside, you are made of something I do not have a word for. Something unbreakable. She finally looked at him. Her violet scales shimmered in the moonlight. Thank you, she said, for saving me, for saving my neighbors, for being stubborn enough to not die. You are welcome, Tae-woo said. And thank you for not poking my arm again. Mina laughed. It was the first time he had heard her really laugh. It was a good sound. Sora visited him too. She did not bring alcohol. She brought silence and peace. They sat together in his living room, not speaking. Sora closed her eyes and took slow breaths. Tae-woo did not know what she was doing, but he felt calm beside her. The stress and pressure seemed to melt away. After a long time, Sora opened her eyes. Your emotional signature has changed. What do you mean? Before the incident, you felt lonely, small, like a single star in empty space. She tilted her head. Now you feel connected, like a star that has found other stars. You are part of something. A constellation? Tae-woo suggested. Sora smiled. Yes, a constellation. That is a beautiful word. Nari was the most enthusiastic visitor. She came every day, sometimes twice. She had endless questions, but now they were different. When you were running in the poison, what did you think about? Were you scared? Did you think you were going to die? What does it feel like to be a hero? Can I tell my friends that I know a hero? Can you sign something for me? My teacher does not believe that I live in the same building as the famous human. Tae-woo answered her questions patiently, just like always. He signed a piece of paper for her. He told her that yes, he was scared. He told her that no, he did not feel like a hero. He just felt like someone who did what needed to be done. That is what heroes always say, Nari said wisely. They never think they are heroes. That is how you know they are real ones. Hana was the last to visit. She came late at night, when the building was quiet. She stood in his doorway, looking uncertain. The stern landlord, who never showed emotion, now looked vulnerable. "May I come in?" she asked. Tae-woo stepped aside. Of course. They sat across from each other. The silence stretched between them like a bridge. "I have been thinking," Hana said finally, "about what you did. About why you did it. I have explained already. I could not stand by and watch. I know what you said. But I have been thinking about it differently." Hana leaned forward. "You did not know those people. You owed them nothing. You are not Valorian. This is not your planet. Those were not your people. And yet, you nearly killed yourself to save them." "They are my neighbors," Tae-woo said. "You had known them for only a few weeks. A few weeks is enough to care." Hana shook her head slowly. "That is the part I do not understand. Valorians are not like that. We are careful. We calculate. We protect ourselves first. We would not risk death for strangers." "Maybe that is not a bad thing," Tae-woo said. "Self-preservation is important too, but it is lonely." Hana's voice was soft. "Living carefully. Protecting yourself. Never risking anything. It keeps you safe, but it keeps you alone." She looked at him with those dark purple eyes. "You have changed this building. Before you came, we barely knew each other. Now we gather. We talk. We laugh. We share meals. We care about each other." She paused. "You taught us that caring is not weakness. That connection is worth the risk." Tae-woo did not know what to say. He had not meant to teach anyone anything. He had just been himself. "You are welcome to stay here as long as you want," Hana said. "This is your home now. Whatever happens, you have a place here." "Thank you," Tae-woo said. "That means more than you know." Hana stood to leave. At the door, she paused and looked back. "I was scared too," she said quietly. "When you ran into the poison, I was terrified. I thought I was going to watch you die. And I realized that I did not want to live in a building without you." Before Tae-woo could respond, she was gone. He sat alone in his apartment, thinking about everything that had happened. The friends he had made, the lives he had saved, the home he had found. But the peace did not last. The next morning, a message arrived from the Galactic Mining Corporation. They were sending a representative to discuss his contract. There were concerns about his integration with the local population. There were questions about his loyalty to the company. And the representative was not Valorian. The representative was human. Tae-woo read the message twice, feeling a cold weight settle in his stomach. He had a bad feeling about this. The representative's name was Kang Jun, and he would arrive in 2 days. 2 days to enjoy the peace. 2 days before everything changed again. Kang Jun arrived exactly on time. His transport pod was sleek and expensive. His suit was perfectly pressed. His smile was wide and bright and completely empty. Tae-woo knew the type immediately. He had met men like Jun before. Corporate climbers who cared only about power and advancement. Men who would smile while stabbing you in the back. Jun stepped out of his pod and looked around at the housing complex with visible distaste. His eyes moved over the Valorian residents like they were insects. "On Tae-woo," he said, walking toward Tae-woo with his hand extended. "The famous hero. I have heard so much about you." Tae-woo shook his hand. Jun's grip was firm but cold. "Let us talk privately," Jun said. "I have important matters to discuss." They went to Tae-woo's apartment. Jun looked at the small space, the simple furniture, the photograph of Tae-woo's mother on the shelf. His smile never wavered, but his eyes were judging everything. "Comfortable here?" Jun asked. "Yes," Tae-woo said. "Very comfortable. Good. That is good." Jun sat down on the couch and crossed his legs. "Let me be direct with you, Tae-woo. I am here because the corporation is concerned. Concerned about what? About your integration with the locals. June spread his hands. You have become quite close with the Valorians. Eating with them. Socializing with them. Becoming a celebrity among them. This was not part of your contract. My contract says I must do my engineering work, Taewoo said. It says nothing about who I can be friends with. True, but the corporation has policies. Unwritten rules. We prefer our employees to maintain professional distance from alien populations. Integration creates complications. What kind of complications? June's smile became sharper. Loyalty complications. When a human becomes too attached to aliens, he might forget where his true loyalties lie. He might start caring more about the local population than about the company that pays his salary. Tae-woo understood now. The corporation was not worried about him. The corporation, they were worried about their control over him. I do my job, Taewoo said. I show up on time. I work hard. I cause no problems. Yes, but you also ran into toxic gas to save alien lives. You became a hero to people who are not human. You set an example that other human workers might follow. June leaned forward. Do you understand the problem? If humans start caring about aliens, start risking their lives for aliens, start integrating with alien communities, it becomes harder to manage them. Harder to control them. Harder to move them to new assignments when necessary. So you want humans to stay separate, alone, isolated. I want humans to stay professional. June stood up and walked to the window. The corporation has made a generous offer. A promotion, triple your current salary, and a transfer to the human colony on Kepler 442b. You would be with your own kind. No aliens. No complications. Just good, honest work with fellow humans. Tae-woo was silent for a long moment. Triple his salary was an enormous amount of money. His mother would never have to worry about anything again. And if I refuse? He asked. June turned around. His smile was gone now. Then things become difficult. Your contract could be reviewed. Violations could be found. Your work permit could be revoked. You might find yourself on a transport ship back to Earth with no job and no references. Are you threatening me? I am explaining your options. June's voice was cold. Accept the offer and thrive. Accept the offer and thrive. Refuse and suffer. The choice is simple. Tae-woo looked out the window. He could see Yuna in her apartment, tending to her plants. He could see Nari walking home from school. He could see Mina working on someone's vehicle in the parking area. He could see Hana crossing the courtyard, looking up at his window with worried eyes. These people had become his family. They had accepted him when he was a stranger. They had cared for him when he was hurt. They had stood by him through everything. How could he leave them? But how could he stay if it meant destroying his career? I need time to think, Tae-woo said. You have 24 hours. June walked to the door. Choose wisely, Tae-woo. Your future depends on it. After June left, Tae-woo sat alone in his apartment. The weight of the decision pressed down on him like a mountain. An hour later, someone knocked on his door. When he opened it, all his neighbors were standing there. Yuna, Mina, Sora, Nari, Hana, and behind them, dozens of other residents from the building. We heard, Hana said. The walls are thin, and Valorian ears are sharp. You heard everything? Tae-woo asked. Everything. Mina stepped forward, her forearms crossed. That corporate man is scum. Pure scum. I wanted to punch him, but Hana said that would cause diplomatic problems. What are you going to do? Yuna asked. Her voice was soft, but her eyes were worried. Tae-woo looked at all of them. These strange, beautiful beings who had become his world. I am staying, he said. The reaction was immediate. Nari cheered. Yuna smiled so wide her whole face changed. Mina pumped all 4 fists in the air. Even Hannah's stern expression cracked into something like joy. But what about the threats? Sora asked. He said he would destroy your career. Let him try. Tae Wu's voice was firm. I came to this planet for money. I stayed because I found something better. I found a home. I found a family. No amount of money is worth losing that. The next day, June returned for Tae Wu's answer. But this time, Tae Wu was not alone. The entire population of Building 7 stood behind him. And beside them stood Elder Bora, who had traveled from the capital specifically for this moment. Tae Wu declines your offer, Elder Bora said, her cold voice cutting through the air like a blade. And as regional overseer, I am exercising my authority to grant him special status. June's face went pale. What status? Cultural ambassador. It is an old law, rarely used. It grants protected residency to individuals who have made exceptional contributions to Valorian society. Elder Bora's smile was thin and sharp. Saving 14 lives during a chemical disaster certainly qualifies. The corporation will not accept this, June said, his voice shaking with anger. We have contracts, agreements. Your contracts are with the mining facility. Mr. Han's residency status is a separate matter, governed by Valorian law. You have no authority here. Elder Bora stepped closer to June. Despite being shorter than him, she seemed to tower over him. Leave now, and tell your corporation that Han Tae Wu is under our protection. June looked around at the crowd of Valorians. He looked at Tae Wu, standing tall among his neighbors. He looked at Elder Bora, cold and powerful and completely unafraid. This is not over, June said. Yes, Tae Wu replied. It is. June left. His expensive transport pod lifted off and disappeared into the purple sky. And just like that, the threat was gone. The celebration that night was the biggest Building 7 had ever seen. Someone brought music. Someone else brought food. Nari taught everyone a Valorian dance, and Tae Wu taught them a Korean song. And for hours the building was filled with laughter and joy. Late that night, when the party was finally ending, Tae Wu stood on his balcony and watched the twin moons rise. Valoria 7 stretched out before him, strange and beautiful and home. Yuna appeared beside him, carrying 2 cups of tea. You chose us, she said softly. I chose you, Tae Wu agreed. Even though it cost you money, career, security. Some things are worth more than security. He took the tea and sipped it. It was warm and sweet and perfect. I have spent my whole life being careful, saving money, planning for the future, playing it safe. And then I came here and learned something important. What? That safety is not the same as happiness. That being alone is not the same as being free. That the best things in life are not things at all. They are people, connections, moments like this. He looked at Yuna, at her silver skin glowing in the moonlight, at her golden eyes full of warmth. I came to this planet because I needed money, but I'm staying because I found something money cannot buy. What is that? Yuna asked. Home, Tae Wu said. Family. A place where I belong. One by one, the other neighbors joined them on the balcony. Mina with her jokes. Sora with her quiet presence. Nari with her endless energy. Hannah with her rare, precious smiles. They stood together under the alien stars, human and Valorian, looking at the same sky. Tae Wu thought about his mother back on Earth, about the photograph on his shelf, about the long journey that had brought him here. He would find a way to take care of her. He would find a way to make everything work. But for now, in this moment, surrounded by the family he had chosen, He was exactly where he needed to be. He was Han Tae-woo, a simple engineer from Bizen, the crazy human who ran into poison, the stranger who became a neighbor, the neighbor who became a friend, the friend who became family. He was home. And that was everything.